Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's Sunday. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. Good to see you all. I hope I'm live. My YouTube feed took 30 full seconds before I finally saw it. It verified that I'm live, so I'm sure if I got it, you got it. And speaking of getting it, let me change cameras first. There. Good morning. Drink it if you got it, my friends. And today we're using the Kenny cup from Mark Whistler. Thank you, Mark. Oh, wow. Another Sunday morning. I don't know, is it just me? Maybe is time flying faster as we get older? I think so. It seems like yesterday that I was saying good morning to you and wishing you happy Easter. I can't believe a week has gone by since it was Easter Sunday. So yeah, time seems to fly. Reminds me of a bad joke. I think I've told this to you before. We've all heard the expression, time flies when you're having fun. But I heard somebody once say, time's fun when you're having flies, as the frog said. It's all relative, depends on your point of view, I guess. So I'm wearing my Eat Meat t-shirt today and a vision in black. Oh, a lot of people coming in. What do we got here, Sar? 72 people on a Sunday morning. I don't have a lot prepared for today. I'm just show notes, basically just plug my buy me a coffee because it helps. Put the thing in there. Tell you, don't forget my birthday coming up on May the 7th. I'm going to have a birthday live stream. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but it'll be a party for us and celebrate my 78th year, and especially celebrating this year because I'm still here after the adventures of the last 2 months. I don't know if you noticed it or not, but I refer to everything that happens to me, whether it's good or bad, as an adventure. If I have a lot of fun doing something, it's an adventure. If I overcome a stroke, for example, I still consider that an adventure. It helps me to think about it as an adventure, as a learning experience. It keeps me from getting depressed and feeling sorry for myself, which is so easy to do. That's how I handle it, and I continue to call it an adventure. Some people have told me that that's silly to refer to it as an adventure, but it is. Seems like as we get older, the more adventuresome we get. at least in my case. And our bucket lists start to fill up with things we'd rather not deal with than all of those fun and fabulous things we put on that bucket list when we were younger. My bucket list in the past 10 years has included skin cancer, brain surgery, and now a stroke. And I'm still fighting. And contrary to popular opinion among the medical community, I think the carnivore diet is responsible for my quick recoveries and not for the problem. Just like cholesterol has been shown not to be the cause of atherosclerosis, heart disease, and all the bad things, like the analogy of the fire and the fireman. I won't go into that now. You've heard that. So here I am, doing okay on this adventure. I'm walking more without support. Not walking great distances, but it's something that I have to consciously do, because the tendency is always to take the easy way. If I've got a walker or something in front of me to support me, the tendency is to hold on without thinking about it. If I want to let go, exercise my balance a little, I have to consciously think about it. So something on my mind every time I get up and go somewhere. Same thing with getting up and down out of chairs. I have to consciously think not to hold on to something. And I've got exercises that I do that are very interesting. They're balance exercises. One of them is you stand up, and I have a corner of my kitchen where I can stand without leaning on anything in a corner of the counters. I have the walker out in front of me. So if I lost my balance, I could lean back, fall backwards just a few inches into the counter, or right in front of me, grab onto the walker. And this is an exercise that my therapist has me do, and I've been doing it more and more often. And I really think it works, and I think it's helping my balance. You take your head with your eyes open, and you look this way, and you look this way, and you look up, and you look down. And then you close your eyes, and you do the same thing. Now, if you can imagine, you're standing there trying to keep your balance, and you're moving your head all around, which is your inner ear detects your balance. And I can do that now without losing my balance. So it's good practice, and it's really helping in the walking. The same exercise as another variation, and that's when you do the same thing with your eyes open, but instead of looking where your head is pointing, you look at it, something right out in front of you. So as you turn your head, your eyes stay fixed on that. And that's also a good exercise, and sideways and up and down. So I'm fortunate, as fortunate as I could be, having had a stroke, that there were some things that this did not interfere with. One of them was my mental clarity, which included the mechanisms that help me in balancing. Some people, unfortunately, get screwed up for months and months, maybe years, or never recover. So we'll see. We'll keep going. We'll keep going. Let me go back to the beginning of this chat and welcome G. Bell yesterday at 8:25 p.m. and he's the earliest one that I see here. Well, that's about right. That's what I created the stream. So welcome, Jerry Bell. Hello, meet people. And Cliff Medina checked in. Hi, Cliff. And Zekel. I'm still just stabbing at the pronunciation of that name's Mike Seeley Jr. Hi, I'm Mike visiting the Philippines with his wife, visiting his wife's family down there. How you doing? Good to see you checking in. This internet thing makes the world very small, very small. Smoothie 420, good to see you from last night. 9:30 p.m. Mandy Beddoes, good to see you. The furrow grandma checked in last night. Oh no, I skipped all the way to the bottom of the chat. Sorry guys, it wasn't last night. It was this morning. I mean, get back up to the beginning. Mandy Beddoes checked in. The furrow grandma did check in. How you doing? She checked in at 9:33 p.m. Kitchen Witch Tanya, hi. Good morning, Tanya. How are you? Lucy Auerbach is here. Good evening. Saturday. Glad to be back after my second stroke. Lucy, stop it. Missed my all meaty friends. Looking good, Mitch. Have a blessed Sunday. Wow, you too. Well, I hope your recovery is going well. Rose Holland is at 33 last night. How you doing? Laurie was here, and CB is here. CB was here last night. We are rocking this joint. Bam, OldGuyCarnivore community, and he corrected that with are the ones. Thomas. Oh, let's see, Thomas. 11:51 p.m. Good evening to you. Good morning. Lady Jin was here. Arlene Blaylock, Blackwood. I got an Arlene Blackwood and an Arlene Blaylock. How you doing, Arlene? Good to see you. Anybody from this morning yet? I was 3:38 a.m. and we have Carnivore Police at 5:30, evidently. We are through with the insomniacs. Tuka is here from, how you doing? Down in South America, and as usual, he wants to know how he can become wise like me. Patty Mulder, good morning. How are you? Again, we're still in the pre-chat here, in the pre-show. Mike Shilley Sr. is here. Smoothie is here this morning. Snow C, how you doing? Thomas is back. Wayne Herman is back. We are at 9 o'clock here with Sandy Blythe. Jerry Graham is here. Rick Charger Mopar, good morning from the Duck Pond. And Greg Smith is at home. Hi, Greg. How you doing out there in Pahrump, Nevada? This is where I came in. Said good morning to everybody. Lori's back here this morning. Terry Sue, how you doing? Says good morning, everyone. 9:23. Claudia Burkick, hiya, Claudia. Chimed in at 9:27. Brian Dish is here. Good morning, Brian. And looking for 9:30. Everybody's starting to stab at that button. Mark Whistler, the source of this cup. Good morning, Mark. Good to see you. And you know, I heard my phone go off. Excuse me, I grabbed my phone off my walker back here. You can see it behind me, where it's hanging. So I didn't have to have it hanging around my neck. Yeah, this is no fun to have this. Thing's pretty heavy. Well, that's how heavy these cell phones are until they hang around your neck for a while and you start to get a sore neck. It appears that I had a coffee from Jerry Voigt. Sorry, Jerry. Jerry Voitush bought me a coffee, said, have a great Sunday. Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate that. Truly. I get myself situated back and centered in the picture again. Everything is 10 times as hard moving around, but it's getting a little better every day. The changes are not as dramatic as they were. If it's a curve, it's kind of coming like this. But I'm very happy with the improvement so far. Laurie was here at 9:29, and Bama J, 9:29. Whoa, look at this, look at this. Lady June, you're the winner. Congratulations. And shortly thereafter, followed by Lori, Rick, Richard Williams from Copper Hill, Tennessee. Tanya, Meatitudes is all up. That was it for 9:30. So good to see everybody here this morning. That concludes the morning Ring the Bell contest. I'm going to answer some questions and pretty much respond to your chats, interact if I can. As usual, put capital Q's in the chat if you have something you want to ask me, or if you have a comment you want to make, which you think you'd like me to make sure is brought to the attention of the people out there, or you want me to chime in with the discussion. But I seem to find the QQQs. It's a challenge, whether people realize it or not, to keep coming up with topics to talk about on the live stream and make videos at the same time talking about topics when basically our message can be summed up in 2 words. And there's only a limited number of ways you can arrange those 2 words. And the message is always the same. Eat meat, or beat, eat. It's amazing that most of us in the carnivore community actually find enough to talk about to keep all these channels going all this time. It's $2 super chat, or £2 super chat from Tuka. Thank you so much, my friend. Good to see you. Good to see you. So I'm going to scroll down the I don't know what I hit to do that. It happens when I'm trying to scroll in the chat and look for questions. I do something that throws me out of the streaming software, and I have to get back in. Don't know what I'm doing to cause that. It's happening. It's something to do with me using my mouse with my left hand. I have to be very careful when I'm in the chat over on StreamYard. I have a chat up on the side of the screen, as you can see, and I can scroll around in that. It might be better for me to read the chats from that one, but then I can't put them up on the screen. It's a double-edged sword. I can't screw up the StreamYard when I'm scrolling over here. Well, I don't know. One of these days I'll figure out why I do that. All I can tell you is, bear with me. If it seems like my feed has cut off, it really hasn't. It's going to take me just a few seconds, in most cases, to get back in. such are the tribulations of professional show business. All right, let me get back to where I was. I'm going to try to keep up with this chat here. Jemin is here. How you doing, Jemin? Bill Cook is with us. Oh, Thomas, sounds good. I'm outside in the sun having my coffee, and I agree MITCH-Carnivore is a missing link to our healing. Thank you. Thank you. There's a name you know, Jeff Johnson. And wow. Speaking of Jeff Johnson, let me see if I can find this. Just give me a second. Here it is. Let me get it up here. Jerry Voitush sent me this. And hang on.
Cast your vote for Jeff Johnson. Good old Jeff. A name that you can trust. A name that you know. Jeff Johnson.
Why you no vote Jeff Johnson? He the name you know. Go down, vote for Jeff. Jeff Johnson, the name you know. Hey, you eating the green, and you on the cornbread. Put that.
That's great, isn't it? I hope you can hear that. It wasn't very loud. That's from the Eddie Murphy movie, The Distinguished Gentleman, long time ago. And that was him campaigning for office because he ran because he had the same name as the guy that got thrown out for having an affair. And he ran because he figured that he'd get votes because people knew the name Jeff Johnson. And that's why Jeff Johnson, every time we get he pops up in here, I always say the name you know. I can't help it. But thank you, Jerry, for sending me that. I didn't want to play too much of it but it goes on and on. And I don't want to get a copyright strike by YouTube, which they'll do. They'll do. Steve Studley. Steve is here. You have been on great adventures too. Yeah, we start all looking at our illnesses as adventures. It does help. It does help a little bit. Andy Carnivore says, good morning, Mitch. I wore my old guy shirt yesterday at our local meetup in Noblesville. Hey, great. I hope you had a good time. Those meetups are a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun. Danny in Boston is here. Phil 4986 is here. Hey, how you doing? Don't recognize that name. Let me see if I get any questions coming up. And I'll continue to say hi to people that I haven't said hello to yet. Like Sharon McCabe. Hi, Sharon. How are you? And Julia Wigger. Hiya, Julia. From over there in the UK. My goodness, your speech is improving at a rapid rate. Thank you. Thank you so much. It still requires a lot of conscious enunciation on my part. But I'm happy with it. People don't look at me like, when I talk to them, like, oh, you just had a stroke, didn't you? Especially people that I've never talked to before. But honestly, to me, in my own ear, I still sound like I'm slurring a lot, but it doesn't come out that way. But it sounds that way to me. Probably serves as a good reminder to consciously think about enunciation. So I do. Who else is here or questions? Rich LeBoy, how you doing? Thank you, sir. Bill Cook. On the duck theme. Barbara S. is here. First time to comment. Well, welcome, Barbara. Been following you for more than a year. I'm so glad you're recovering so quickly. I admire your tenacity. Blessings and prayers sent to you. Thank you and welcome. Welcome. Thanks. I'm glad you commented. I think you may have commented before. For some reason, I remember that Barbara S. name. Maybe not. I was wrong once before. It was the time I thought I was wrong, but I wasn't. I'm sorry. I can't help that. Okay, let's see what we got here. Steve Stedbody saying hi to Barbara. Myers Family Fun. Having my butter coffee from Seattle, Washington. Good morning. Glad to hear you're having fun with the whole family. Don't see any questions yet. So I'm scrolling. I am scrolling along. Here we go. Brian Dish. Have you been outside walking since Thursday? No, I overdid it. I overdid it. I was on my feet for 45 minutes between the walking and the talking to the neighbors. Then I had my dental adventure, another adventure, in the afternoon, which is stressful. It doesn't sound like it would be tiring, but it was. Riding in my son's pickup, although it's a very nice pickup, was still mentally tiring. And I'm not a good passenger. I never have been. That's the pilot in me. I need to be in control when I'm in any heavy machinery moving at a rapid pace. I've never enjoyed just riding. I'm always second guessing the driver in my mind. And they never do things exactly the way you would. So it's tiring for me. Then 2 hours in a dental chair also was tiring. And then the ride back was tiring. The next morning, on Friday morning, I got up. I was shot. My muscles were tired, I could tell. And I feel pretty good this morning, but I have a live stream to do. So I think tomorrow morning I'll go out and take another walk. I don't want to overdo it. That is my tendency, and why everybody I know, especially doctors like Vasquez and Kiltz, that tell me, slow down. You need to recover. You need to let your muscles rebuild before you tear them down again. So that's what I'm doing. Thank you for asking. Steve Studley's off to church. Say hello for me. Here's that super sticker from Tuca. Thank you, my friend. Very generous of you. And Kitchen Witch chimed in. I'm looking for questions. There was the oops. You guys, you're getting used to it. All right. Let's see. Questions. We still got a half hour to go. Jeff Johnson liked the Eddie Murphy clip. Any more questions? I'm looking. I'm up to 9:53. I'm only 7 minutes behind. This may be a short show this Sunday morning. Come on, guys. Here's somebody I haven't said hi to. Lori Marie. You've noticed a big change in my speech since a week ago? Wow. I can't tell. It when you're recovering everything is small incremental changes, and you just don't notice them. When I noticed the big difference was when I rewatched that first video from when I first got to rehab, about a week after I had the stroke. I could really tell the difference between then and now. But every day seems pretty much like the day before. Little small improvements, but I think I have to consciously push those improvements and stretch out what I can do. And I have to be careful in doing that because you don't want to fall. And that's what makes it difficult. In order to no gain, no pain. Or no pain, no gain. If you stay safe and sound, you don't progress. That's true for stroke victims. It's also true for Evel Knievel. If he never makes the jump, he never gets the glory. And it's something that I'm consciously aware of. Plus the fact that it's made more difficult from the fact that my right leg, I still don't have complete or tremendous muscle control over it. So if I'm not consciously thinking, lift it off the ground. Every time I pick my foot up to bring it forward, I'll drag it. When you're trying to walk, even the carpet can trip you up. And sometimes you don't know where your foot really plants itself. So you have to look at your foot. That doesn't help. It's better to be able to walk without looking at your feet. Look where you're going. Not that you're going to bang into anything, but that's just the normal way you do it. You don't have to consciously move the muscles of your leg to walk. That all is muscle memory. I haven't gotten to that point yet, which increases the risk of tripping over your own foot, which is easy to do. And happens to me when I'm walking with the walker. Because when you're walking with the walker, as you saw in that last video of mine, you're not watching your feet. You're not nervous because you have support. And if for some reason you drag your foot, the walker's there, and you lean on it. Otherwise, if it wasn't there, you'd fall flat on your face. I've consciously done things in my house, day by day, to make life a little more challenging for me. It takes a lot of planning and logistics. When I first got home, it was very tough. The first thing problem I had was I had narrow doorways. Since I live in a manufactured home, the doorways to my bathrooms were narrower than the walkers that I had. I couldn't get them through the door to the bathroom. I took the walkers and the wheels in the back, you can adjust the height. Well, you could also swap sides. So the wheels now were on the inside of the legs rather than the outside, which reduced the stability some, but I found I could at least get it into the bathroom. That was okay for a short time. And then I got the roller thing, which is a much handier device for a couple of reasons. Number one, you can walk faster with it. You don't have to lift it up and plan it. It just goes along with you. Second of all, it has a seat. If you should ever be out and get really tired, you can sit down on it. Under the seat, it's got a storage compartment, which really comes in handy when you're trying to move stuff around the house. When I make my coffee to come out here, I take the coffee cup, set it on the seat of that walker, and push it in here like a little cart. Same thing with the one outside. When I have to get Amazon packages off my front stoop, those things work great. And for that reason, if I didn't have that, if I was walking with a cane or something like that, it would still be very handy initially to have something, a little cart. The thing I'm finding is if I plan for all this stuff and equip myself with all this stuff, it becomes obsolete to me very quickly. Those walkers, once I got the that red rollator thing that I have, the walkers, I had 2 of them, became relegated to the 2 bathrooms that I use, and they just sat straddling the toilet so that when I got up to the toilet, I had something to hold on to. And I've been using them like that for quite a while. I could get, at first, I used to leave them sitting in the doorway of the bathroom, and I'd use them to get to the toilet. Pretty soon I realized that I didn't need them to get to the toilet. I could just touch a door frame or touch anything to give me a little bit of stability. It didn't have to support much weight. It just kept me feeling secure. So I started to leave them just straddling the toilets. So I had 2 bathrooms. Both of them had walkers straddling the toilets. In the bathroom I have where my shower is, I put up in the shower some of these suction cup handrails, and I put outside regular stainless handrails. What happened yesterday, well, 2 days ago, I said, I see in all these walkers, I don't think I need them straddling the toilet because I didn't need them to hold on. I could stand up at the toilet and keep my balance, no problem. So I put them away. So now, and these are the little changes that are gratifying now, and I know this may not be the most interesting conversation, but it is what I'm experiencing every day. Now, I go to the bathroom. My bathrooms look like bathrooms again without handicap stuff in there. And now, even the bigger bathroom, I can leave the rollator outside because it won't fit through the door. Walk in and just reach out in front of me and just touch the sink. And get over in front of the toilet and stand there with no support and reverse that to get out. And it's just one step from the sink to the toilet, but before I wouldn't dare do that without some support. So that's how I know about the progress, and it's happening little by little by little, but the monumental change in how I navigate my house. How long has it been now? 4 weeks I've been home? Maybe more than 4 weeks. Wow. I navigate around this place like a wizard, and just trying to use smaller devices to help me balance. Yesterday, 2 days ago, I got my cane. I got a cane from Amazon that has 4 feet on it. I've been warned by somebody that those canes cause more tripping accidents than not. I don't know if that's so true. I think you have to, anything you can trip over if you're not conscious of where you set it down. I've got a little Hemi walker now, which is a one-handed thing, which I used to get to my car. Very shortly, I'm going to film a video of me driving somewhere, me actually getting to the car, getting in it, bringing the walker, which I can very easily bring in there with me, and taking a little trip or something, and getting the walker out and doing my best thing. And it may by itself not seem like a very interesting video, but it's a milestone for me, and it's something I want to share. This series of videos about the stroke has taken a life of its own because it's something most people have not seen or been along for the ride, because quite frankly, most stroke victims are not in a position or have the inclination to chronicle and film and narrate their recovery. They just want to recover, as do I. But for some masochistic reason, I do the extra work. For example, think about it. If you're watching a video of me walking out of the house, walking with the walker towards the car and opening the car door, that means I have to go there with the camera first, set it up on a tripod, get it going, walk back to where I want to start this little sequence, and then film myself walking up to the camera. At that point, well, actually, when I film that sequence, I'll actually get into the car and shut the door and maybe start the car. Now, I'm sitting in the car, it's running. I still have a camera sitting out there on the outside that's still running. Well, I need to shut the car off, get back out of the car, get the camera from outside, bring it inside, set it on a suction cup mount up on the windshield, start it running, get out of the car again, shut the door, and then start the new scene from the inside with the door opening up, and then blend both of those scenes together so it looks like it's all happening at one time. Most people recovering from a stroke and concentrating on getting to the car the first time and driving aren't going to want to have to play cameraman and film crew at the same time. Fortunately for me, I love that stuff. And I consider that extra work, and the extra walking, the extra moving, the duplication of efforts to get both of those shots, I consider that therapy. It is therapy. The best therapy is doing the things that you would want to be able to do every day. So I'm encouraged by my therapist when I eat. Try to, even though it's tiring, try to eat with my right hand. Try to push the buttons on the mixer with my right hand. It's still difficult to do that. But the real life actions, I think, are the best exercise. So anything that enables me to do more of that, I think is good therapy. I don't know how I got started on that, but it's a little aside for you, other than just saying hi to people. We have 126 people here, it's a nice crowd. I think our daily crowd is dwindling back to the core, plus a few new people. A lot of the new people that jumped in when I had 300 and 400 people watching a live stream were people that were new and didn't know who I was. I think they got bored with the live streams. I don't think they had the makings of true dyed-in-the-wool Mitch fits like most of us here, and that's just fine. That's fine. It just shows you who your friends are. Plus, it's Sunday, and if the weather's nice, maybe they're out or going to church or something like that. But I don't think it's a holiday today. All right, I'm still looking for questions. I am 9:50, about 20 minutes behind in the chat where I am. So let me continue. I think I heard my coffee thing go off. Let's see what happened here. I really do like to acknowledge that and thank people. Mike Seeley Sr. bought me 5 coffees with a thumbs up. Mike, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. You're a good friend. I probably should give you a call. I haven't really thought about having company, but it would be nice to have you stop over and say hello and talk for a while, since I don't go anywhere. I'm here by myself. So we'll get in touch and perhaps do that. That would be great. Because Mike just lives about 10 minutes from me. It's a shame not to see somebody that has become a friend. The only time I've been seeing Mike is at events and meetups. But he's retired, I'm retired. It's not like I'm that busy. Bill Cook says, he saw Mitch working out last year, inspired me to work out a little more. Yeah, I missed that too. I still work out, but it's not a workout like it used to be. Now it's more recovery type exercises, regaining muscle control type exercises. It isn't, and I got to tell you, those are harder to do than the ones where you push to a failure, because you fail so much faster. Trying to encourage the reconnection of your muscles to your brain. Kevin Burke says, I'm the same way, Mitch. Over 5 million miles of trucking, and I can't stand to ride with someone. I'm a side seat driver with an attitude. Well, that's partly due to the pilot in me. Not only do I not like to drive or ride with somebody else driving, but it makes me nuts to fly with somebody else flying, and that includes airliners. Strangely enough. Sandy says 66 likes, 121 watching. You know what to do. Yes. Thank you, Laurie. I appreciate that. Here's a question from Thomas. You know your Mitchettes are crazy. Thomas, I'm not going to answer that. You guys do have great senses of humor. Yes, 111. Have you started driving again? When you do drive in reverse for a couple of days? First, just... Oh, yeah, right. I don't think that would be safer for me to be driving backwards. Retired Rick chimed in. Good morning, Rick. How you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, we're kind of relaxed this morning, which is okay. I would hate to cut it short in less than an hour, but I'm perfectly fine, because that's what everybody else does. They limit it to an hour. I'm the only lunatic. Well, me and Anthony Chafee, he goes to 3 hours sometimes, and I know that Rick, Charger Mopar, Miami, has been known to go all day if nobody shuts him up. But an hour is nothing to sneeze at. Ken Berry does an hour. Kelsey never does more than an hour. So if I get to the end of the chat we'll call it a day. Or somebody could ask me a question that starts a half-hour rabbit hole lecture, and next thing I know, it's this afternoon. That's called taking it as it comes. Question, Mitch, I lost 30 pounds when I started carnivore. Now it seems I've stalled out. Any tips that might restart the weight loss? I'm severely disabled, but hoping to get back aquatic therapy soon. Kevin, that sounds like the typical carnivore journey to me. I have to, and I've been down this path before, and I have to keep explaining something I learned in my own lifetime of dieting is that if you told me you've been losing 5 pounds a week since you started and you're still losing 5 pounds a week, I would think you were making it up, because weight loss is not like that. You're fighting any number of things. Number one, it's normal for our bodies, since they, in times of our evolution and times of famine and times of everything else, food is only follows breathing in importance, and water. Famines were frequent. Survival was tough. So our bodies began to look at the fat we stored as precious resources. Think about your car. Do you, is it an imperative for you to have an empty gas tank or use up your gasoline in your gas tank any more rapidly than you do? And if you find that your gas tank is getting low, do you conservatively drive, try to increase your gas mileage a little bit? Any of you that have had electric cars know that feeling, called range anxiety. Nothing is more important than conserving energy for the human body, which is why when you start exercising and using more energy, well, let me put it another way, which is why when you use less energy, when you eat less or use more energy, your body conserves and slows down your metabolism. So the more weight you lose, the more your body fights to keep you from losing weight. And that's where the stalls come from. And you reach at a point where your body gets into some kind of equilibrium called a set point. And once you reach that set point, you almost have to use dynamite to blast you out of it. And the best thing you can do is do nothing different than what you've been doing. Because if you start to eat less, thinking, oh, I need to start the weight loss up again, what you do is you exacerbate the problem. You make it worse. Because then your body thinks the famine has got worse, so it slows down some more. You might lose a few pounds in the time being, but you'll put it right back on quick and end up with a slower metabolism coming out the back end. So the best advice, and something that just seems to work, is let your body find its own optimal weight by slow and steady on the diet. It may mean that there might be months that you stay at the same weight before you start losing weight again. But anything that you might do to accelerate the weight loss when you're in a stall will only serve to convince your body that it needs to slow down its metabolism, because it's using more energy and getting less food. And it makes the stall longer, and sometimes, in fact, most times, I think, is responsible for actually gaining weight back. So patience, which is why Ken Berry invented vitamin P. If you haven't ever heard Ken Berry talk about vitamin P, that's patience. You got to have patience. Very important. Mike Giulicini, thank you, Mitch. 14 months on carnivore today. Thanks to you. My pleasure, Mike. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And what else we got here? We're at 10:07. Now I'm falling behind again. There. You got me with an answer to that question. Let me look for any more questions. We're coming up on 9:30. Wow. 10:30. I'm sorry. Somehow in the back of my mind, I still have the 8:30 starting time in my head. And whether you guys realize it or not, I do all this whole thing half unconscious and just coming right off the top of my head. If I had to stop and think about everything I was going to say before I said it, I'd be quiet most of the time. Lizzie's here. Hi, Lizzie. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. And let's see. I'm trying to. Okay, it's hard to get involved in everybody's conversation when you're reading so fast, but DS111 says, my teenage daughter, who will not handle uncooked bacon or ground beef, let alone eat it, thinks she wants to be in nursing and deal with sick people. Oh, to be young and naive. Yes. Kathy, 4Qs. Can you ask for ground beef ideas, such as adding Italian diet, herb seasoning, dried marjoram, garlic powder? Yeah, all that stuff has come from plants. Not the only seasoning that doesn't come from plants is salt. So it depends. If you want to add all that stuff, yeah, that's all great, Kathy, but it's not. It might not be optimal for carnivore, and it might make no difference at all. You could experiment with it. I've settled into, I just take ground beef. I don't even make a meatloaf anymore. I just take ground beef, take a big lump of it, throw it in the oven, let it cook 90%, and then I just either eat it like that as a meatloaf, heat it up in the microwave, or make some, mix it up with some eggs. And I'm not looking for, interestingly, after all this time on carnivore, I'm not looking for more variety. I'm actually looking for less variety because it's not important to me anymore. Question, Meatitudes. Went for my annual, and the doc told me to eat fiber because the gut microbiome needs it. Why? That right there says it all. Meatitudes. It says it all. It shows a complete and basic lack of understanding of human physiology from soup to nuts. It is the most illogical statement that anybody can make, backed by absolutely no science whatsoever. It is 180 degrees wrong. And the reason, besides the fact that hundreds of thousands of people, maybe not hundreds, because I wish carnivore was that big, I'm considering the hundreds of millions of people around, even if 300,000 people were carnivores, that would be 0.1% of the population. So that's still obscure. We all know, because we eat no fiber, that not only do we prosper, but our digestive disorders, especially the serious ones, like Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, all the inflammatory bowel diseases, have a great chance of going into remission without the fiber. How could that be? If we eat no fiber, how could we possibly have a bowel movement? Well, mine have straightened out for the first time in my life. I have no problem anymore. Come to find out that this whole microbiome bullshit is, again, marketing crap, propaganda designed to sell us something we take in tablet or capsule form, probiotics. I hate to use racial examples, but maybe this might be politically incorrect, but maybe you could understand it. You got two neighborhoods. The first neighborhood, some African American people move in, and the first thing they do is they open up some rib joints, some chicken and waffles joints, and all kinds of businesses that they like, things they like to eat. A mile away, some Italians move into a neighborhood, and the first thing they do is open a pizzeria and a couple of Italian restaurants. So now we got two different neighborhoods with two different kinds of restaurants. Which came first? The African Americans and the Italians, or the restaurants? The restaurants were a result of the people that moved in. What comes first? The food for the bacteria, or the bacteria itself? Who will be happier in those two neighborhoods? Would Italians be happier where the Italian restaurants are, or where the soul food is? Same thing with bacteria. If the food is there that they want, their population will grow. If the food isn't there for them, but there for somebody else's population will grow. If you keep eating fiber, the bacteria that feed on fiber will become dominant. It's not the other way around. The food is there first, and then the lovers of the food follow. If you keep taking probiotics, thinking you're going to increase the bacteria that eat the fiber, they will only continue to die until you feed them fiber. We don't need them. We're not cows. We don't need bacteria in our gut that ferment fiber and create gas and maybe some free fatty acids. We don't need that to survive. The amount of fiber we need is zero. And when we eat zero, we will have very little of the bacteria that live on fiber, which is why converting off of fiber sometimes is so annoying, because you've got tons of these bacteria, and one day to the next, you starve them to death. Well, they revolt, and you get uncomfortable, upset stomachs. But eventually, their population will dwindle to an appropriate level. So the appropriate human biome depends on the diet of the particular animal and not what we think it should be because of our definition of normal, which includes the standard American diet and tons of fruits and vegetables and whole grains. Any medical professional that tells you it, you need to be concerned with what the makeup of the bacteria in your microbiome is, doesn't get it. You don't need to feed the bacteria in your gut. The bacteria in your gut depends on what you eat. And we know what the proper food is, and it's not fiber. The reason it gets to the gut, the reason that fiber gets to the colon, is the human body doesn't need it. It doesn't have any use for it. We know that from people like Kent Carnivore, Lee Copus, who has an ostomy bag. He can tell you exactly what makes it to his colon and what doesn't. What makes it to his colon is plant matter. What doesn't make it to his colon is the food we're supposed to eat because it's digested. So you want to really screw up your colon and have all the same problems as everybody else does. Eat plenty of plants and fiber. And until the medical community gets off of this fiber crap, we'll never fix a damn thing. And yet that's one of the things that they say about, oh, carnivore can't be good for you because it doesn't have enough fiber. That's like saying, well, carnivore can't be good for you because it doesn't have a lot of food that your body doesn't need and can't wait to get rid of. Well, that doesn't make any sense, does it? You can't talk about that too much, and it's a great question. And it shows me the ignorance of the medical community and the education and the propaganda and the brainwashing that they've been getting for the last 70, 80 years. And if that's what you were taught and you had no logical thinking, why wouldn't you think the human beings need fiber? I mean, every breakfast cereal box brags hard, healthy, high in necessary fiber. It's amazing. The greatest lies in the world being told on breakfast cereal boxes. I wonder how that happened. Thank you, John Kellogg. You've done so many wonderful things. Oh, look down here. Boy, you get me going. I love that. I just says, hey, my Mitch Fits love me. I love them too. I love all you guys. That's great. It's really cool. I won't read all this stuff, but some of you guys are really funny. And Bill Cook answered the question too. He says, yeah, you need fiber maybe if you're on the standard American diet. I still don't think you need the fiber, but at least if you've got that much bacteria, if you stop eating the fiber, the bacteria die off. It takes a couple of weeks. Create a little havoc because they don't want to go, but when I talk to people who are supposed to be professionals, dietitians, nurses, doctors, and talk about what cholesterol is, they're clueless. They're clueless. Here's Lat. Hi, Lat. I didn't see you yet this morning. Good to see you. You're an hour late. Yeah, so much for an hour. Yeah, here's Huang Ling. My daughter is a doctor and is indoctrinated into the standard American diet. She's a colorectal surgeon and she's a vegetarian. Oh. Even though I am in shape and on carnivore, she won't deny. Oh, sorry about that. Well, let me put it to you this way. The standard American diet ensures a never-ending supply of customers for your daughter, the colorectal surgeon. Think about that. Many of these doctors are not as dumb as we think they are. They're just crooked and evil. We know that improving the health of the human race will hurt their business. Many of them don't want to have their business hurt. Many of them keep doing it because they don't know any better. But believe me, there are many of them who do know better, aren't willing to give up the Porsche, the big house, the country club, the status, the admiration of being Dr. So-and-so. Egomaniacs, because you have to be an egomaniac to know you're harming people and you're not willing to give it up. Like somebody like Ken Berry, who after 10 years of trying to kill his patients came to the realization, I can't practice medicine like this anymore because I knew better now. I know there's doctors like that. They're generally the ones that are so firmly entrenched in the bullshit that they will not change their mind, and they'll fight you tooth and nail with the propaganda and all that shit convincingly. They're crooks. They're sociopaths. They like the money. They like the prestige. So your daughter, who's a colorectal surgeon, probably doesn't know any better because she's probably younger and I don't think she's really learned yet. But she should start to listen to you and have some logical reality discussions with you about colon cancer and things like that. Or else she's going to keep finding people like Lee Copus, Ken Carnivore, and removing their colons because they have inflammatory bowel disease out of control, most likely from eating plants, not meat. Not meat. I swear, honest to God, I swear, I see these people with their lame arguments, and I see 4-year-olds. 4-year-olds. You remember the typical 4-year-old argument? One 4-year-old says to another, "You're a doo-doo head." What does the other 4-year-old immediately say? "No, you're a doo-doo head." That's the level of intellect we're getting from these people with these lame excuses supporting the current paradigm of plants as a primary human diet. It's just that simple and juvenile and idiotic and dumb. And they won't talk to you. They'll just call you names and throw it right back at you. And tell you, no, your diet is the one that causes that. With no proof, no nothing, no logic, no intelligence. Wang Ling says, my doctor daughter won't budge. She even makes things up to defend her beliefs. I told her I'm drinking raw milk and she freaked out, told me about pediatric friend treating kids with infection. Well, I'm sorry. Maybe, your daughter is probably, sounds like graduating from naive to evil. If she won't open her mind, the best thing, if it was my daughter, either have a tough talk with her and say, just come out and say one. You could lose your daughter, unfortunately. The hard thing to do is say, you're hurting people. You're killing people the way you practice. You don't know. You could at least look at some of the research and maybe investigate to find out if maybe you're wrong. because that's what most considerate people would do when somebody tells them they're wrong. It's what I do. People send me links to some of the most ridiculous stuff, but I still take a look at them. I still decide why they're wrong and then dismiss it. That's called an open mind. I don't know what she's afraid of, but it's a shame. But she probably makes good money. Lot says to me, your daughter will probably mellow with age and experience. Maybe, maybe not. Most doctors don't mellow. They double down. Interesting discussion. And then Juan asked me, we do eat fiber, Mitch, right? There's fiber in eggs and meat, correct? No, there is no fiber in eggs and meat. None, zero, period. Fiber is plant material. It's cellulose. It's wood. It's your landscaping. No fiber, zero fiber in a carnivore diet. There are a few carbs, tenths of a gram of carbs in meat and eggs. A carb, let me put it this way, all fiber is carbohydrate, but not all carbohydrate for sure is fiber. Sugars, which are the majority of the carbohydrates, are not fiber. So fiber is the undigestible stuff that we can't wait to get rid of. The reason that it has gotten the reputation it has as being healthy, thanks again to John Harvey Kellogg, is think about what happens in your body. How many times a day are you going to take and I refer to it as a steaming dump? How many times a day do you think you need to take a steaming dump? Carnivores very rarely do it every day, and it's never steaming and it's never a dump. The only time you're going to take a steaming dump is when your body's trying to get rid of stuff it doesn't want. And the more stuff your body doesn't want or need or can use that you put in, the bigger and more often those steaming dumps are that you take. John Harvey Kellogg, 100 years ago, back in the Battle Creek Sanitarium, was convinced that that was an indication of good health. The more fiber they ate, the bigger the dumps and the healthier they were. And through a series of ridiculous brainwashing, that became the standard for good health. How big your dumps are and how often they are. Why? Does it make sense that the human body would want to get rid of anything that it could use? Doesn't make sense. Common sense has left the building in any human dietary dogma. So you have to think and say, why the hell, if it's so healthy for me, does my body want to get rid of it so bad? Do I get cramps, urges, discomfort, and worse, bowel diseases that require my colon get cut out? If this, and I use the term loosely, crap is so good for me, don't eat it. But no, we don't eat fiber. We eat no fiber, period. We eat a few grams of carbs in the meat and eggs a day. And the reason we get the carbs from the meat is because that's how sugar is stored in our muscles. It's stored in the form of glycogen. So when you eat muscle meat, you can't help but eat a little bit of glycogen, but our body does not see that as just plain glucose. So I hope talk to your daughter about that. But you'll never change your daughter's mind because, as we all know, those of us that have kids, that everybody on the planet Earth is smarter to those kids than their parents, the dumbest people walking. At least until they get into their 40s and 50s when they realize just how smart we are. But that goes along with the old saying, I love it. When your kids wake up one day and go, wow, the older I get, the smarter my parents become. That's very true. All kids think their parents are idiots, especially teenagers. What do you know? Yeah, that's right. I was just born yesterday. How dare I think I'm as smart as you, princess? But that's normal. Just normal for people. All right, I'm not going to read it, but I'll show it to you. There's a personal question. $10.42. Well, catching up. We're all right. Wang, you're chatty today. Alan portion it to strictly follow carnivore people who cheat a little, examples of sort of nuts, low carb bread, Atkins cookies. You're not a carnivore. You're not a carnivore. You're a cheater. You're keto. You want to be keto? Eat Atkins cookies, low carb bread, and assorted nuts. Keep it below 20 grams of carbs a day. Measure ketosis. Make sure that you don't eat more carbs to kick yourself out of ketosis, and you might get some benefit. Otherwise, you're just on a low carb diet, which can be healthy, but you're not a carnivore. So none of that stuff is carnivore. If you start eating that stuff on a regular basis, you are not carnivore. Doesn't matter. You're keto. Be keto and be happy. Embrace it. I don't think maybe that'd be all you need to do. Throw some vegetables in there. Maybe a little broccoli or Brussels sprouts. The nuts, I don't know how healthy they are. The low-carb bread, that stuff is usually chemical-laden crap. And the Atkins cookies are scientifically designed to be as addictive as hell. And the minute you open the box, in most cases, the box is gone. If that sounds familiar to you, don't do it. That was my experience with the Atkins bars way back in the day when they first came out. I couldn't just eat one. I ate the whole box. I learned what carb addiction really is about. Even though there wasn't a lot of carbs in there, they tasted like it. They were sweet. And I would eat the whole box. Oh, your daughter is young. She just graduated and completed her residency. Yeah, and she makes $350,000 a year. Yeah, you're going to have more of a hard time convincing her to give that shit up. But good for her. Maybe she'll learn something. Maybe she'll grow up. She's still a kid. She's still a child. And she believes everything she was taught. After all, it's in the books. Blatt says, Mitch, I thought I saw research in the 60s about an African bushman poops huge from eating roots being declared as the ideal. Have you seen that? Ideal for what? Ideal for what? Dinosaurs took huge poops too. Just because a tribe of humans who lives in a geographical area where the meat has been just gone from their diet for eons, and they've adapted to eating a bushman's diet, doesn't mean it's the right diet for the rest of us that came up with meat-eating ancestors. We can adapt to anything given enough time, and once that strain is adapted, that will become a healthy diet. That's why the Eskimos had to eat fat and blubber. The people who live in Hawaii can get away with eating more pineapple. The problem is that'd be great if people just stayed where they were. But in this world, we invented boats and airplanes and travel. We migrated. Most people aren't living where their ancestors lived. Not only that, but they've intermarried and screwed up, mixed their DNA with somebody else's. We are a homogenous society now where nobody knows what the hell they're supposed to eat. Used to be in the old days, you never traveled more than 10 miles from where you were born. Everybody around you, their ancestors ate that same diet from that region for eons. You were probably very healthy and adapted to the food that was available. All of a sudden, we got Gordon Ramsay. We got cable TV. We got airplanes. Look at your own ancestry. How pure is it? Some of your ancestors may have been pineapple eaters. Some of them may have been Eskimos. Some of them, you never know. That's why we have to find out for ourselves what we're genetically predisposed to eat from what we inherited from our ancestors. Now, most of us in America are descendant of white Europeans or black Africans, okay? The rest are mixes. The rest are real mixes of people that have just been mixed lately. But if you are predominantly of European descent, you're probably a meat eater. Same thing with pure African. Those people were hunters. The epitome of hunters. Most humans, I think, have a majority of meat-eating ancestors, which is why so many people do well on the carnivore diet. My opinion. It's, to me, that's just logic. Oh, yeah. CB Carmack says, I used to watch Lusty stuff. No. I bought one of his books. The Plant Paradox, it was called. It's the only book I ever returned to Amazon. And it wasn't for the money. It was a statement. The man is a veggie pushing Benedict Arnold who claims to be for keto, gives you the keto argument, and then proceeds in every one of his videos and every book he writes now to trash his own argument and show you why he now believes being vegan is best. He is a wolf in sheep's clothing. When I see his face on YouTube, it disgusts me. So CB, I'm glad to know I'm not the only one. That's all he is a shill. A shill and a huckster and a snake oil salesman. I don't want any part of him. I don't care how much he thinks he knows. Somewhere he became misguided. That's about as the least unkind way I can say what I really think of him. Sorry. They all sell out. Look at Peter and Tia. I'm sorry. I won't talk about it. You look at Peter and Tia. Question, Booby Goats. Aaron, how you doing? What kind of coffee is in your cup today? That's an easy one. Yes, it is McCafe. In the K-Cups from Sam's Club. I like that stuff. Retired Rick has a question. So, is poop supposed to float or sink? Well, it depends how much fat you eat. There's no supposed to. The consistency of it is more important than whether it floats or not. You're never going to, a constipated person who craps rocks, basically, is never going to see those rocks float. On the other hand, somebody who has diarrhea is going to always see it float on top. So the density of it depends on how much fat it has in it. If it has more fat, it'll float. Because fat floats to the top, grease floats to the top. I know this is an indelicate way of talking, but it's something people will understand. Right at the point where you have about the right amount of fat is the point at which it determines how buoyant in water it's going to be. So if it floats, it means, and it's consistent, its consistency isn't too loose, you can say to yourself, well, it's kind of like a decimal point measurement. And say, well, I know that from the consistency of my stools that I have pretty much the right amount of fat, but I can see because it's floating that it's leaning a little bit towards more fat. Or if it sinks to the bottom, you can say, well, I can tell by the consistency, and I'm not constipated or I'm diarrhea, that I'm getting just about the right amount of fat, but I can tell by the fact that it sunk to the bottom that it's a little on the low-fat side of where I want it. That's all. That's all that means. That's how I feel it. That's how I view it anyway. So the consistency is much more important than whether it floats or not. And whether it floats or not is kind of like the decimal point. Gives you a little more clue, but it's not the main indicator. How's that? There's a little bit of insight you're not likely to get anywhere else on YouTube on the planet Earth at this particular moment. Oh, Wang, we can't teach everything here today. Has there been any research about putting carnival animals? Why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense. Hey, Sherry, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope you're doing fine. Yeah. Means who says keto bread is a 150-word essay of ingredients. Yeah, all that stuff needs all kinds of shit. They probably use a ton of soy products in it. They're going to use almond flour or something like that. They're going to use sugar substitutes. They're going to use guar gum, emulsifiers. You're eating a chemistry set, for God's sake. You don't need bread. You're addicted to it. You're addicted to it because it contains carbohydrates. Low-carb bread is an oxymoron. Bread is bread because it has carbs in it. If you make low-carb bread, you're not making bread. You're making some chemical, like the phony meat they made out of soy. You're making something that may look like bread or have the texture of bread, but physiologically, when your body gets it inside, does not know that that's bread. And it's not going to satisfy your addiction. It's going to fire up your addiction for some real bread. And that's the problem. Eating an imitation version of an addictive food only makes the addiction worse. I've said that 1,000 times. I know this is more true today than ever because in my 3.5-week total hospital stay, I tried to find low-carb versions of anything I could get in there to eat amongst the crap. And all I did was come out of that episode a flaming carb addict again, hooked on ice cream. Not good. Randy says, did you have a CAT scan? No, I never had one. And if I can help it, I never will. Don't care. I said this yesterday or the other day. Don't want to know. If I've got coronary artery calcium, it's doing its job. The job of the calcium is to stabilize the plaque. If I've got the plaque, it's because of 75 years of shitty eating. At this age, I can't. There's nothing that can clean it out once it's there. Sorry, you're stuck with it. If I'm stuck with it, I don't want to know. I don't want to live every day knowing that I might keel over tomorrow. Just don't want to know. Sorry. Don't need to know. I'm 78 years old. The only thing you can do about that is change your diet. Considering I think I'm on the best diet there is now, there's nothing further that I can do. And there is no way appreciably to clean out your arteries in spite of all of the crap you see on YouTube and all of the magic substances that claim clean out your arteries. Sorry, folks, you're plaqued up and calciumed up. You're stuck with it until you get it a roto-rooter, a stent, or some mechanical type of way to clean it out. You're not going to clean it out by changing your diet. And if you're already on a good carnivore diet and you're healthy, I just think it's better not to know that death is imminent and live your life and try to be as happy as you can. That's all. That's my attitude. I'm saying that might be right for you. You might be one of these people that has to know everything. CB says Atkins is only a fancy brand name. Yeah, Atkins has nothing to do with Robert Atkins anymore. He died a long time ago. You guys have come to life here at the end. It's great. Sherry saying hi to everybody. Everybody saying hi to Sherry. Okay, wow. 10:58. Oh, we're after 11 o'clock already. Grace Lily's here. How you doing? Good to see you. I found out the Mayans were Arctic, subarctic for thousands of years. Yeah, you are probably a pure hereditary carnivore. And I can't answer, Juan, I can't answer any more of your questions. Your questions are one after another. You're putting them out, and I hope you're getting some meaningful answers from the community. Don't try to learn it all in one day. Come back. I'm here 3 times a week. ZB says, low-carb bread is just thinner. Crystal says, yeah, that's the old reduce the serving size to reduce the numbers. They do the same thing with lowering the price. The pint of ice cream becomes 14 ounces, but it's cheaper. Oh, we're so easily fooled. Oh, hey, Wang, another question from you. Sherry, Maureen's got a question. Have you tried my carnivore ice cream and your creamy 3 eggs? No, I haven't. 1 cup water, 1 cup, add stevia if desired. Yummy with bacon too. I have to try that, Sherry. No, I haven't. I'm trying to cut back on that. Something about ice cream, I just continue to overdo it. All right, Sherry, I will check my email. But I got to get through this and got to get done. And I reached the bottom of the chat. Yay! Hey! Wow! Oh. So instead of a 1 hour, it's 1 hour and 40 minutes. How about that? How about that? Listen, guys, I've had fun. 140 people here at the end, and the audience built. The more I rant, the more people stick around. So, we're going to play some happy music. I'll be back again on Tuesday morning. Tuesday at 9:30, we'll do this again. I'll probably put out a video between now and then. But if not, I will see you all Tuesday morning. I've been very busy trying to do all the work and little things that need to be done on my house, get that stuff done. It's been like a full-time job, but I'm trying to keep up with the YouTube stuff, answer the comments. So, say goodbye to everybody, and That's what you're doing. You know the program already. Brian Dish says goodbye. And the Fur Grandma, Sherry Morgan, goodbye. Sherry CB, Carmack Kitchen Witch. Wow. Just you think Mitch could not get any cooler. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Mike Silverstein says goodbye. Jerry Voitos, everyone enjoy your Sunday. Thanks, Mitchie says you're welcome. Lori says goodbye to Lat. Bye, everyone. See you next time. And Lizzie, some clapping hands. Snoopy 420, Kathy, Florida says goodbye. Nikki W. Keto or Crystal, bye for now. That's great. That's great. So, as the music winds down, I will tell you all, have a great Sunday. Here it comes. And with that, my friends, we'll call it a day. I'll tell you to take the rest of the day off and eat meat.